Hello footies, welcome to Foot in Review, powered by footcoaching.com, bringing you leading analysis and opinion of all things Ultimate Team since 2019. We bring you 2 shows a week available on all your favourite podcast platforms, and of course we now have a fully produced video show available on YouTube and Spotify as well. Now, if you can spare us a little bit of extra support, why not head over to patreon.com/foot in review, get a range of benefits, including joining our loyalty program. You also get Discord access and much, much more. Big thank you to today's show sponsors, CarMoney. I'll have a little bit more on them later in the show, but also a big thank you to our Skybox holders, Amar, Artyom, and Peter. Hello footies, welcome along to your latest dose of EAFC 24 Ultimate Team goodness. We are Foot in Review, powered by footcoaching.com. My name is Dan Wimbush, otherwise known as Wimby. I'm joined once again by my main man, Shaq Attack, for our early week show. Stay tuned, we're going to be rounding up all the latest in the Dynasties promo, including a massive Icon SBC. We've had a mini release as well. We've had lots of paths to upgrade your squad and get that all-important fodder. I'm going to be asking some key questions. Are all teams now at the stage that they're all so good that no team particularly stands out? And also, have the casuals just disappeared? Are they the unicorns of the FIFA scene now and just do not exist anymore? I guess that would make them dodos, I suppose, extinct. But the man you can hear giggling away in the background is my main man, Shaq. Shaq, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing really well, Wimby. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, doing really well. Yeah, it's lots to cover on this show today and looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is my 3rd show in a row. If you missed it, I was on with Kyle and John on Saturday. So look, ready to get into it. Let's start with the latest bit of content. Just very quickly, before we get onto the big main course everyone's been debating whether they want to complete or not, let's talk about the mini release. Mini being the key word here because we saw a bit of a baby Maldini, who was the highlight of this mini release, Shaq. Now, the thing that stood out about this mini Maldini was he's 90 rated, has a bit of a pace boost, but it's the reactions and composure, both being 99, which is better than either of his 2 more superior cards, that I guess is holding this card up at around about 1.5 million coins.
Yeah, it's tremendous. I just noticed the composure and the other attribute at 99, and it just doesn't make any sense because you'd expect a baby version of Maldini to be worse, but this looks like a better version in some regard. But then if you look at the defense and there's other attributes as well, like physical and defense are significantly lower on the baby one. So it's a very complicated mixture, which keeps the price where it's at. I think it's good. I think it's good to have variety, but it's not very different in price to the other one. So that's the part that I don't really get.
Yeah, I mean, the 93 rated Maldini, you will pay 3 million coins for. This one at the moment. It's actually dropped a little bit. It's down to about 1.5 as you record this. I should say just before midday on a Tuesday, if you're listening to this on Wednesday night. Don't forget, our Patrons get it early. Patreon.com/foot in review. But yeah, I mean, comparing this to the 93 rated card, shooting is down to, I mean, nobody really cares about, shooting is up to on that 93 rated card.
Yeah.
But the 93 rated card has 6 better defending and has 7 better physicals, although it's not as good dribbling wise. So if anything, the 90 is kind of a little bit more tuned. Do you remember when, I think, was it last year, we got baby Maldini? I think lots of people were playing him at left back. This would be a very expensive left back, but you could see the justification, especially maybe as the game moves forward, to just slot this card in there, maybe, especially as a stay back.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's certainly a really good centre-back as well. And I do remember playing that baby Maldini from last year as my centre-back for a long period of time, and he was really worth it because I think the SBC was 350, 400k, and that lasted for everyone in everyone's teams for a long time. It was like the Blanc of last year was Maldini, and he was a pretty good card in the SBC format. So this is formatted pretty similarly to the card we got last year. And yeah, we'll soon find out and get a review on this Maldini, I suppose, Dan, based on what your pack luck's brought you.
Yes, after miserable luck in the main Icon SBC of pulling Hernan Crespo and Xabi Alonso, I managed to put this 90 rated card popped out of an 85 plus double. So very nice, very happy with that. I'm not to use him. But me and you were talking, Shaq, because I know you pulled the 92 Maldini the other week as well. So we are both in Maldini club. But we both look at this card and just overall, I mean, he is a fantastic defender, but doesn't have as many play styles as we like. I know Nick was using him on stream, I think last night as well, and he was having some problems with that the 93 rated loan. I don't know. It just feels like an inflated price. I would never pay over 1 million coins for this card.
No, I don't think I'd pay. Oh, yeah, I think Lucio's 850k, and I would hazard a guess that Lucio is better formatted for the way I play. Maldini is great, absolutely phenomenal, but there's a difference to those kind of cards that are actually fluid and actually expect you to move and defend yourself, as opposed to Maldini type of cards, which where they expect you to just stay back and find the right spot, and they will do everything for you. Yeah. They're really good at that, but I'm a control freak, so it's really hard there.
Yeah, the only playstyles this 90's got, it's Slide Tackle Plus, and we talked about this on the show that was released on Saturday. I always think if you're using that Slide Tackle Plus as a centre-back, you've probably got them in the wrong position. Yes, it can be handy for blocks. I do understand that, but it's not the ideal playstyle, especially maybe the way I play. He has got intercepts, which is good, and aerial, which is obviously very handy, but not... I'm going to be reviewing Samuel Umtiti a little bit later on. He's got like every defensive playstyle under the sun for like 15k. So maybe just lacking a little bit there. But let's talk about some of the more affordable options in the mini release. We'll start at the pricier end. Kefren Turam getting a promo card. This was a card that was all the rage last year. He's got his brand new card now. He's got Press Proven Plus, his playstyle plus, 410,000 coins. At the moment, Shaq, 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak for obviously playing for Nice in League. And worth the coins?
Oh, look, he's one of those cards where I think 400k is a bit too steep compared to the stuff that you can actually get on the market right now. But he does come with the cachet of last year again, where a lot of people loved that Team of the Season card. And this card, and even before the Team of the Season, we had another card of Thuram that was popular as well. It was an SBC that got upgraded, which is really good. But this one here, I think it's a good card. It's a really good card, but with the evolutions and the things that you can evolve, and you can compare cards like maybe Benacer, who can come close enough to a certain degree. And I think he's definitely a good card, but 400 is slightly too expensive in my opinion.
Yeah, hooligan card, 80s across the board. In fact, the only stats that slip below the 70s are volleys, penalties, and free kick accuracy, which you're not really going to use. Pinged pass, long ball pass, and relentless play styles. Obviously, all the links as well. You want being French and Ligue 1. Can play CDM as well. Very good card. I think I agree with you, though. This one, to me, screams it's probably about 100k over what you'd be happy to pay.
But then it's only been released yesterday, so it's got some more time. It's recency bias as well. I think by the weekend, this card should be 250k around, which I think is really good value. Then at that price, it's a very good value. Perfect link to Mbappe. I think I would probably try him I'll probably consider Thuram.
Yeah, the kind of card that you'd really enjoy having untradeable. I mean, when you compare him to say a Jude Bellingham, a card that lots of people have got. Would you take this card over Jude Bellingham if you had both untradeable?
It depends. I think the press proven is something that I really do enjoy in my midfield. So that's the part that I think the Jude Bellingham that I have has the dribbling boost, which it's not. We'll get to why I think some of the play styles are messing with people's actual play style within the game. But between these two, I think I would choose Kefren Turam just purely because of the play style plus.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare the two side by side, Thuram has 9 better face stats and total in-game stats. He's ahead by 36. The only real thing that gives Bellingham the edge is the agility and balance. He's got significantly better on that, slightly better interceptions, but overall, and better aggression and stamina. But overall, Thuram does have the edge on Jude Bellingham, but Bellingham's got that secret sauce this year. So it's always tricky comparing just by numbers, and there's a reason why Bellingham appears in most teams, even in the very top divisions. Moving on to the rest of the squad that was released in the mini release. Rivaldinho, Schlotterbeck, and Mr. Zidane. None of them are creeping above the 15k mark. I think the only reason Zidane is above discard is because he's an 87 rated card. He's got one of the cheapest 87s at 16.5. He's a goalkeeper, by the way, if you were wondering, playing for Eibar. Schlotterbeck, centre-back, playing in the Bundesliga, and Rivaldinho is playing in I think it's the Romanian Superliga. So Brazil will make it slightly okay to link, but not too many players in that Romanian Superliga going to be making your team. The only other card I did want to discuss, though, Shaq, was Nico Williams, another really pacey winger. It reminds me a lot of we were talking about on a Friday/Saturday show about Lauren James. And this card does remind me a lot of that Lauren James card, and it's got the 5-star weak foot, 4-star skills, but it's just let down, I think, in the shooting department once again.
Exactly. 80 shooting for a card this expensive it seems a little bit too steep, but he's got pace to burn. He's got tremendous pace, beautiful agility, 96 agility on the base card. And I think even his passing doesn't really seem to suffice the price tag, because he's got 84 short passing and 66 long passing. So it's one of those cards where I really don't understand the pricing, but it's a fun card, beautiful card to pack, untradeable.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of card that you would either want to put an engine on, I think, really, if you were trying to play him out wide. But I just do not, I used cards like Dembele earlier in the season out wide. And again, similar kind of card to this, and it's very quick. It's got the skill moves. Although obviously Dembele 5-star skills to 4 with this card. Got the weak foot, but the weak foot doesn't matter when the composure and the shooting stats aren't good enough. And we keep talking about it, don't we, Shaq? If you're looking to use this card as a striker or as a wide forward, you don't want them missing that, even if it's 1 in 4, it's going to cost you the higher you get of the divisions.
Exactly. It's those small little tweaks between actually moving up the divisions is those things like composure, the stuff that you can't really enhance with a chemistry style. That's really important. And he's a good super sub at best, but yeah, I wouldn't really start with him.
Absolutely. So that does wrap up the mini release. Now, we mentioned Zidane being in that mini release, going for 16k. If you fancy getting his father, well, Zidane is available. Second year in a row, we've had a nice Zidane Icon SBC. Now, Shaq, this one is very, lots of people are going to be aiming towards this. It's coming in, about 1.6, 1.7 million coins for a 92 rated card?
Yeah. Look, I was messaging someone earlier this morning and they asked me what my thoughts were on Zidane. And this is my reply to them. It was, he's a scorer of great goals, not a great goal scorer. He's a passer of great passes, but not a great passer. And he's a dribbler of great dribbles, but not a good dribbler. That's literally what Zidane is. He's beautiful when it all works together, but he's such a niche card that I couldn't justify. I packed him untradeable 2 years in a row. I would never go out and do an SBC or get him off the market. He always looks tempting. He always looks really enticing because it's a 5-star, it's Zidane, or we all remember how good Zidane used to be. But in game, I'm yet to find that Zidane that I absolutely love.
I agree with you 100%, my friend. I got this, was it his mid version they released?
Yep. Version,
yeah. And I got this card done, and I even made a couple of videos about it. Like you said, I had some magic moments with that card. Like when he pulled off that certain pass or a certain shot, you were like, this is easy. This is easy for you. But then he would just go missing in a lot of other games, and for such a lot of money. Now, I know lots of people are going to be saving 4 up packs for Team of the Year. Bearing in mind, this card is out until middle of February. So you've got a long time to get this done, and you can get it done a lot cheaper than 1.7 million. But I agree with you. I think it's going to frustrate a lot of people. Now, they have tweaked his work rates. He's got high attacking, medium defensive, which could be a difference. Lots of people talk about Zidane not having that passion. And this card should have that bit more passion with that. And of course, playstyles make a massive difference to this year's game that they didn't in the past. And he's got the first touch playstyle plus. Incisive pass is great. Long pass is great. Technical, flair, trivela, finesse. He has got everything. And Shaq, I think if you're playing maybe something like where I got the most out of Zidane last year was a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Playing in that pure cam role where he could arrive late into the box or just set one of my 2 strikers free. And he was great. I just think if you are going to try and play him in any kind of CM role, I think you're just going to be a bit disappointed.
Exactly. I think as a pure cam as well, the issue with Zidane, I completely agree with you that he's great arriving into the box and gets those shots through. But the issue with him is the agility. In the higher divisions, and especially in the last few seconds of weekend league, you just need that little bit of agility, which he absolutely lacks, and he will frustrate you, especially in bad gameplay, being that cam. So he can't play cam, in my opinion. I'm not a great cam. He can't play CM. Where else would you play him? Striker?
No.
And it starts to get really complicated. And I tried him every single where. and just didn't work for me. And yeah, I think that's what the frustration that people will face. So I would suggest, if you're intending to do Zidane, take the loan version, give it 5 games and see how you feel. Don't give it 5 games in squad battles or even rivals. Give it 5 important games in champs and see how you feel.
Yeah, or take him into the cups as well, which are notoriously very sweaty as well. And of course, you get the benefit of not losing a game should you have someone that rage quits on you or quits even before the start. So definitely give it a look. Do I think it's going to be, this is a bad card? Absolutely not. But we're talking about this in the context of the amount of effort that you'll have to put in or the amount of coins you'll have to put in to get this card done. And it's just, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's a bit like me with Didier Drogba. Every game I convinced myself, because Didier Drogba was one of my favourite Premier League players ever. Every year I convinced myself, this is the year that Didier Drogba is usable and going to be a monster. And every year he's not. And there just comes a point where you just go, some cards ain't built for this game. And I just think, for me, and I guess from what you're saying for yourself as well, I think Zizou fits into that category for us. So skill issue, perhaps.
Yeah, well, definitely it could be a skill issue. But having said that, though, I really don't remember Zizou appearing in endgame teams last year. And that clearly shows the man. I'm even talking about the Trophy Titans one, the one that was the best Zizou.
Yes.
Even that didn't appear in a lot of endgame teams. So, yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. So, and as I said, it's out there for 2 months, so you've got a long time to get it done. Now, if you don't want to go straight to Zidane and you want to gamble, we have had the 87 plus Base and Centurions icon. I mentioned it earlier. I managed to get Xabi Alonso out of this. Shaq, who did you get?
I got Beckham at about 5 minutes before recording. I was just disgusted that I actually got, I can't even remember who I got. I got Nedved. Yeah, I got Nedved.
Oof. Those are two just about usable or fun, inverted comma players. Not pure fodder, but obviously not getting into you. I think Beckham's a nice card to have on your bench.
Yeah.
To bring on for 10 minutes at the end, and those set piece. In fact, Beckham is great. I've got the loan Beckham from the SBC. If you haven't done that, is Beckham still available or is he expired?
I think, yeah, he is. He's still available.
Is he still available? Get that loan done, because if ever you're doing the moments and they refresh that set piece frenzy every week, just have that Beckham and he'll do the business from corners and free kicks. But yeah, I mean, look, a couple of 100K to get this done. I always think these are worth a go, but I think we spoke about it the last time, this refresh Shaq. Even when they've added the Centurions in, we're hitting that point already where most of the base icons now have slipped below that meta line.
Just about. There's very, very, very few icons that actually keep up with the power curve right now. Even, for example, Kelly Smith, if you packed her now, she's good, but is she going to last in your team for more than maybe 3 weeks to a month? Not really. That's the issue. And I think, but having said that, though, we'll get to the point, but I think a lot of people are packing good things as well from this SBCs. I think it's just sheer number of people doing the sheer number of SBCs that you're bound to back something at some point.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the price, it's actually coming in at around about 275 now. I think where fodder's gone up a tick. And I think the informs are playing a big part in that as well. But already you're at a point where Fernando Torres, who when this icon pack first came out was considered one of the massive dubs when it was the 87 plus max rated. And that was only, time flies in this game. That was only about 4 or 5 weeks ago. He's now at 307k. So he's already, if you got Torres out of this pack, he's just about a break even. So, and people slipping below the line now, again, people that you might have thought were dubs before, the Del Pieros, the Essiens, the Makaleles, like you said, Kelly Smith, Beckham, Lahm. So, yeah, there's more chance, especially if you're having to pour coins into this. Now, again, we talk about so many ways to get fodder. And, of course, EA releasing another set of upgrade packs as well. So if you are continuously opening before Team of the Year, I don't think there's any harm in doing this, Shaq. But, again, I just think, the odds are starting to go against you to get something really good.
Exactly. It's getting harder and harder to back something major. And even with Centurions and all these other things, I barely see any Centurion icons being backed.
Yeah. Agree. I saw a couple of Gattusos, and then you always get the outliers that you see on Twitter. I saw somebody that did 2 of these. Did you see the one that went viral? The guy that got, what is it, Ronaldinho and R9 in back-to-back packs.
That's just stuff that video has to be edited. There is no way one guy sat back and packed these 2.
Well, we saw it earlier in there, didn't we? Someone had the double walkout. Was it Eusebio and Mbappe? I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, some people. So, like, it's a bit like the lottery, though. It has to happen to somebody. You know, the amount of packs that are opened in this game. So, look, GG's to you.
It's like that guy who did Mbappe and got Trailblazer Mbappe in the last pack, and then got gold Mbappe a couple of weeks later. It's just.
Some people have it. Some people have it, my friend. Our good friend John Talking Foot in our own Discord, who after weeks of bad pack luck is in a position where he's just had to drop Bobby Charlton because he's got better options. So, we also need to mention as well, massive congratulations to John. Now, we've had John on the show loads. John's been chronicling his frequent woes of trying to qualify for Weekend League. Not only did the man qualify, he got 9 wins as well. So massive GGs to John. And that goes to show everybody out there that if you are struggling out there and you think that you're never going to make it, keep plugging away and, good things can happen.
Yeah, couldn't be happy for him. Couldn't be. I was so excited when I saw his tweet on Twitter that he went 7-2. That's brilliant. He's a good player. Clearly he's a good player. It's just sometimes the game needs you to have the confidence from within. That's it.
Yeah, and look, we saw, it can affect anybody at any level. We saw, we were going to talk about the FC Pro Live a little bit later on, but I was hoping for upgrades to my Zidane SBC. He's a world champ using him. And I was watching these games last night, and in the first game against Anders, he should have won. Second game, I can't remember who he played, but he, again, just had so many chances to win, dominated the ball, and then lost in the last second due to a defensive error. And he crumbled. I think he got like 1 draw for the rest of the night, and Lozano was the only player that didn't get an upgrade yesterday. So look, we talk about it, and this is one of the things that they do the team over at Foot Coaching do. They talk about mentality. It's not just about teaching you how to pull off a La Croqueta or trigger runs and things like that. It's as much about analysing your behaviour when things go wrong, sort of giving you coping strategies to deal with that. So again, footcoaching.com for that.
I have to plug John, our boss man John, and one of the things he constantly says, which is so true, you don't really think about it, is when you are defending, and he always keeps mentioning this so lightly, and I never think about it until it really happens to you in Weekend League. He says when you lose a goal, don't just go hell for leather straight after that in defense. Just keep your same shape. Just because you conceded a goal by doing that doesn't mean you will concede another goal. And it's just small little things. You just remember that and actually put that into use. It just causes a huge amount of improvement in the gameplay. And some of the things, I'll be honest with you, some of the stuff that John's been mentioning over the past couple of weeks, I just took that into account and actually seriously paid attention to what he says. And this weekend, I've still got my same usual 11. I didn't really get the 14, but it was so much smoother, so much smoother. I was fully in control of my own game.
Yeah, and I started my Weekend League on Friday. I slowed right down and was just very relaxed, very casual about it. And I was, as I think I talked about this on the show on the weekend, I was 4-0, should have been 5-0, and then got a ridiculous red card. And it affected my mindset. And I kept playing. I played too many games in a short period of time. My results went to pot. I only just got, I think, 11-8 in the end. But when you are in that Zen zone and you are focusing on every pass and actually looking around the pitch and things like that, rather than being so drilled in your focus, I've got to get the next goal, got to get the next goal, got to get the next win. The game just feels so much better. So yeah, again, footcoaching.com for much more on that. But let's finish off the content. Shaq, we talked again on Saturday's show. John was saying, where's Kluivert? Where's Justin Kluivert? His dad's in this release, but where's his son? He came out as an SBC over the weekend. I don't think it's worth saying too much about this card. I mean, it's a decent Prem winger for, about 40k. If you want to get it done, fine. 65k, sorry now. But yeah, again, it's going to find it hard to be in many teams above Div 4.
Yeah, look, he's decent. He links to Van Dijk, I guess. That's probably a good thing. But apart from that, there's nothing else that I can see. I think, remember there was some short power, that's right. His shot power seems to be exceptional. The rest of it is just pretty basic, to be honest. Yeah, his agility, dribbling's okay. Just an okay card.
Yeah, if you're starting out or if you need to fill a spot, by all means do it. Again, it's only the inform player that's really driving up the price of that. Again, you need the inform for the 84 rated squad. Otherwise, it's an 83 rated squad to get that done. So, again, another option available out there for you. And the other thing we just need to talk about content-wise, we come on to our main talking points of the show, Shaq, is, of course, we all got, well, if you played the game before, what was it, November the 1st?
First, correct.
You played before November 1st, you were given an 87 rated Erling Haaland. And credit to EA, because they've done this in the past where they've handed out free cards. They gave us like a free Beckham once. We got those free World Cup Trailblazers, whatever they wanted to call them last year. And most of the time, they're just utterly rubbish cards that go straight into an SBC. Now, a lot of people saw this 87 rated Haaland and slung him straight into an SBC. Shame on you, because there is an objective out there for every game you score, every goal you score in a game with this Haaland up to, I think, 50 games, you get packs and loan players. So especially if you're starting a new account, this is a fantastic card for you. Shaq, they did change his playstyle plus as well. They've given him a pace boost on his 91 rated card. He's been given the quick step playstyle plus. I use this card a little bit, just getting the objectives done. He doesn't feel half bad.
He just is relentless. He's a really hard card to come up against. His left foot shots, of course, are incredible. He's fast. He's a bully. 99 sprint speed. You chuck a hawk on him. He's got 99 sprint speed with 91 acceleration. I think that's significantly better than other Haalands. 93 shot power and 91 finishing with 91 attacking positioning and 99 reactions. This is a good card. It's a really good card. I think I just laughed this card off initially and then used him for one objective and thought, oh, this guy is really good. And he keeps kidding me in Rivals. So I really have to get on board with this card.
Yeah, it's again, GG's to EA for making this a usable card. And again, as I said, each of the first 10 games you score a goal with him in, you get packs, and I think it goes up incrementally from that in either 5s or 10s. So grind's not for everybody. I mean, look, the packs aren't worth sacrificing your rivals or your key foot champs games. But look, it's one of those cards where if you've just got your set win target, for example, or you've got your certain number of wins in Rivals, maybe you then put him in there. Or if ever you're doing a squad battle for another objective, it's just nice to have. So just, again, worth pausing before you put him into that SBC. But look, we've got lots of talking points to come up. We're going to be looking at where are the casuals? We're going to be talking about the strength of people's teams and what makes people stand out now. And we're also going to be talking about the Playstyle Plus, now that we've had it in for a couple of months, and what that is doing to the game. All of that, much, much more after a word from our sponsors. This show is sponsored by CarMoney, the car finance ninjas, fighting to make cars affordable and accessible for everyone, no matter your financial situation. Nikki, the car finance ninja here, compares the top car finance lenders in both the UK and Australia to get you the best possible price so you don't have to, and they can get you approved fast. All you need to do is choose your new car and drive away happy. Get in touch with one of their friendly ninjas and start your car finance journey today. Right, welcome back, everybody. Let's get into the main talking points of the show now. Shaq, I'm going to give credit where it's due. You came up with all three of these talking points. Let's tee up the first one, my friend. What did you want to get into?
The first one's really interesting because I think apart from that little week when we had Black Friday, I could actually sense that there were a lot of casuals. I could feel that there were some easy games. And as soon as Black Friday passed us by, I've just gone back to feeling every single game being really competitive. Rather, if you play Rivals, I mean, we've spoken about this. You play Rivals, you play Champs, you play Friendlies. Every game is almost like, it feels like a Premier League game. Everyone is all out for the win. And I keep wondering to myself, has everyone really become that much better? I mean, it could be that foot coaching is doing exceptionally well, and a lot of people are getting coaching from foot coaching and getting really good at the game. Or it could be that there's actually no casuals left, and it's really the hardcore player base that's left behind that we're trying to struggle against.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about this before, didn't we? When looking at the market and things like that, and the fact that there are so many fewer transfers going on in the market generally indicates that drop in the player base. There's clearly not as much hype in this. The gameplay in the first few weeks of the game, whether you liked it or not, the general consensus was people didn't like it. Now we have had the patch. We are coming up to Christmas. People will be picking up the game. They'll be getting it bought, especially younger people will be getting the game bought for them. And that will bring in a new raft of casuals as well. But Shaq, I think so much is getting muddied by this sandbagging and the deranking. There is so little motivation for people to go and get into those very top divisions now that you are just getting everybody of a good standard clumped together. And Div 4, Div 5, which you might think are middling divisions now, are almost the equivalent of Div 2, Div 1, or even lower elite.
Correct. The other thing as well is everyone I've spoken to, even you, for example, you usually get 14. You can scrape up to 14, and 11's a breeze. I can try and scrape 14 if I really try hard, but 11 is not a breeze, but it's fairly easy. It used to be fairly easy. But this year, I'm finding to get to 11, I really need to focus. And anyone I speak to, if their level was 11 last year, right now it's 9. If someone's level was 14 last year, it's approximately 11. And that's the part that I don't really understand. Has the game really gotten better, or have the player base gotten better, or we're still adapting to the game? That's another thing as well. Maybe we're still adapting to the game. That could be it. We still haven't gotten to our rhythm yet, but it's been almost 3 months in. So that's the part I don't really understand.
Yeah, I think there was such a clear route to score goals and defend goals before the winter patch that I just think, it helped lift up maybe some slightly lesser players and also helped crunch down on some slightly better players, because Shaq, it was quite hard to express yourself when you were just basically going for the same goal 9 times out of 10, and it's a finesse goal or it's a cutback. And that was, probably 80% of the goals you scored. I like to throw in a few crosses, but they're not as effective as those two methods. Now, maybe there's a bit more space in the middle. It might, you might start seeing certain players really rise up and other players start to fall back down. Already, I know I'm conceding a lot more goals than I did before because I'm getting used to my aggressive defending catching me out again. I'd gotten into a nice habit, a bad habit, should I say, of because the marking was so tight, I could be a lot more aggressive, a lot tighter to players. Now I'm not, and I'm getting exposed again through big long through balls through the middle that just didn't happen. So it's going to take a bit of adjustment, I think. But I just don't think this is really a game that suits casuals. I don't think a lot of people would pick this game up from fresh, or if they were coming back after a couple of years, and be addicted to playing it, especially in a market now that we're flooded. I see so many videos on Lego Fortnite already. And that's coming straight off of OG Fortnite, which is coming off, so many games out there. I think FIFA is really struggling to just grab that big mass market now.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. And I think the game as a whole, Ultimate Team as a whole, it's become extremely more complicated and nuanced that you can't really get someone just jumping in and playing the game and having fun straight away. It's almost like you have to build up your team, and by the time you actually build up your team is not good enough, and you still have to keep building it up. So you never get to it, and it's easy for you to just drop off and go play something else. So yeah, I think that's probably what's harming it right now.
Yeah, you used to be able to walk away and leave your team for a couple of weeks and feel like, oh, nothing much has changed. But, you miss a couple of weeks now and everything seems to have changed, and that can probably lead to more frustration. So, look, it remains to be seen, and hopefully things do pick up as we get towards Christmas. Now, let's get on to point 2. We just talked about team makeup. Lead us into this one.
This is something that I've been looking at. I mean, if you look around your average opponent in champs or even in rivals, everyone seems to have like really amazing cards. I mean, it goes back to the Icon SBC we spoke about earlier. Everyone seems to have at least 2, 3, 4 really good icons. Everyone seems to have, we're talking here, we have Mbappe's in our squad. And these kind of cards, everyone seems to have a really stacked team, and it's only December. And if one of the things that really stood out to me is if everyone has an awesome team, do we all have awesome teams? It's a catch-22 where if everyone's got the same awesome team, we don't necessarily all have awesome teams. It's just we're all brought up together to an average of being or whatever the team is. And that's the part that really is starting to get to me, where I think I really look, I'm all for content, I'm all for new cards, but I do like to progressively transition your cards from where they are, start from scratch, and slowly build them up piece by piece. So if you pack I don't know, a Neymar in December, it would have been great. Like you just, oh, this is amazing. You already have an advantage. But these cards give you an advantage maybe in October, not in December. So that's the part I'm really getting a little bit confused by. I don't really know how I feel about it, and would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think EA have done a good job of making cards more available and good cards available to everybody. You know, we'd be talking in previous years, even now, of a gold Messi being in the high hundreds of thousands, gold Ronaldo's, gold, you know, those gold cards being sky high. They're not now. You can pick up a Messi, a Neymar, dead cheap. It's only really Mbappe that is a bit of a, you know, a dream for most. But even, as you've said, there's a player of the month out there, and there's enough grindable content that if you want it badly enough, you can get it. And if you don't want to grind, EA have got that store there for you. We've got an 83 plus times 70 out there. And a lot of people, you know, we're behind the bin the points campaign. But me and you have said it openly. These packs are damn tempting, aren't they? Like an 83 by 70. Yeah, it's 30 quid or whatever it is, but you've got a good chance of getting something good. And if you are one of those more casual players, and I know a few of them, you would just go, wouldn't you? If you've got that bit of disposable income, you're in your mid to early 20s, not a lot of responsibilities, or even if not, if you've got a lot of you know, you're older. It's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, is it? It's, you know, a few pints on a night out.
Exactly.
So
That's exactly right.
So it's dragging people up. It's, you know, they're giving out guaranteed this, guaranteed that in these packs now. So, and while we like to have stacked squads, Shaq, I think it's, sometimes we lose sight of the fact that you only need 11 players. And so your chances of getting 11, and disregard the goalkeeper because all goalkeepers are level, getting 10 good players isn't actually that hard.
Exactly. I think that's probably what's happened. I think we're all spoiled. Like every single one of us in the Discord or anywhere or across the foot community, we all have one particular position where you have multiple players and you don't really know who you want to fit in those positions because you have 4 or 5 really good players. And that's, I think, every single foot account's problem that has been played, that has been a foot founder. We all have multiple cards that we don't really know what to do with.
Yeah, and Evolution is giving you a way to get there as well. So, yeah, it's very hard to stand out and have that awesome team. Now, you do have to have the very top tier players, your Hullets, your Ronaldinhos, your R9s, your Mbappes, to be kind of really seen. It's very rare that I sit there and go, wow, that team is going to blow me away, just on the basis of what I see on the team sheet. So one thing that is separating cards this year, and it's kind of wraps up our talking points this week, is Playstyles and Playstyle Plus. You know, we talked about it earlier when talking about Maldini. What did you want to talk about sort of Playstyle Plus wise?
So one of the things with Playstyle Plus is this is a live example of what I've been going through. So initially when the game started, as we spoke about earlier, that we all were really used to the Finesse Plus playstyle. So I was really hemorrhaging goals. Like that's the only way I could score was Finesse Plus playstyle, just using those. And I loved it. Benzema, Salah, Son, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Now I have Mbappe. My first thing, my muscle memory kicks in to try and do a finesse goal. And his finesses are not that great, which is fine. I'm starting to deal with it. But every single time when I get an angle that I know normally a Benzema would have just done a finesse, my first instinct is to go for finesse. And you do that with, now I was talking about Jude earlier. Jude Bellingham's got a technical play style plus the Jude Bellingham that I have. And in midfield, he excels when you do the R1 dribble. And when I had KDB, I used to use the pass. I can't remember what the actual name of the passing style was. He had a
pinged pass,
incisive pass. Yeah, he had an incisive pass play style plus, and his through balls were really. I used to love those through balls, and I got so used to them. So I think I'm struggling trying to adapt my game because every time I get a new cog in the machine, I try to go back to what I'm used to, and it doesn't work because they've got a new playstyle plus. And we spoke about Maldini. Both of us have a Maldini now who's got the sliding tackle, which I haven't really ventured into yet because I don't want to get used to it. Because if Maldini does exceptionally and I move on and pack someone else and move on from Maldini, what do I do then? So I'm really in that crossroads where do I get used to these playstyle pluses and evolve my gameplay based on what I have in the squad right now, or just play my normal game? That's where I'm stuck at. And I don't really understand whether these playstyle pluses are a good thing. Look, they're fabulous. They're fun in one way, but another way, if you peel it back to my gameplay, all our gameplays, what are we supposed to be doing? Get used to these playstyle pluses or just play a natural game?
The biggest problem with FIFA is that EAFC, is that there are so many moving parts, and EA just increase those moving parts. So it's so hard now to judge a player and what makes him good, or her good. Is it that playstyle plus? Is it the formation you're using? Is it the formations you're coming up against? Is it the kind of players you're coming up against and the style they have? You don't have that, laboratory style 10 games in exactly the same conditions, especially with the way the servers and things are. You don't have kind of like, okay, I'm going to play 10 games with this player who's got this playstyle plus, and I can judge them. Then I'll play 10 with this player. It's so very hard because your opinion on a player or something can be so warped by a couple of bad games. You might just get, really good opponents playing a particular formation that works against you in bad gameplay, and that can completely put you off a kind of player. But I know exactly what you're saying because I love Batcher and that whipped cross, and now I'm like, every time I think of potentially replacing him, I'm like, I can't lose that from my team. Can't lose that from my team.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think there are a couple of them that are proving more useful than others. I think the passing ones seem to be a lot more interchangeable. The tiki-taka, incisive, long ball ones, I've yet to really distinguish them, but everybody knows the difference that Finesse Plus can make. Everyone knows the difference that Relentless Plus can make because it has that physical impact on your stamina bar. Power Shot Plus, everyone knows what that does. So there are a few that are standing out, but a few that are kind of just blending in and make it very, very difficult. So I think it's going to take a lot of time, and it's only going to get more confusing, Shaq, because we're going to get to that point very soon. I probably think from Team of the Year where we start getting 2 playstyle pluses and then 3. Yeah.
That's the part that's starting to confuse me as well. I mean, even if you look at Kevin De Bruyne, the one I gave an example of, his gold and basic cards got the incisive. He's got the incisive pass trait, a playstyle plus, and the other card has a different playstyle plus. So it's not even like you can't even get used to a particular player and associate them with a playstyle. You get a new version of the player. They've got a completely separate playstyle. I mean, Maldini is an example. Both our Maldinis have a sliding tackle one, whereas the best Maldini has got an intercept plus. So that's the part that gets, I think, it starts to get a little bit more complicated. And I think you put it really well. There's too many moving pieces, and it's really hard to justify exactly what you should be doing.
Yeah, I think again, just stick to stuff that works for you. But it's not easy out there. Hopefully, over the years, it become a lot easier to pick out those kind of things. But yeah, I change all the moving parts and just end up with the same results. So I think it's just user error for me. Right, we are rapidly running out of time. So let's very, very quickly rattle through our players in review. Shaq, you're going to start with a player we were discussing on Saturday's show, Adama Traore.
Oh, yes. This is a man machine, a complete beast. I think for the price that he is, I'm sure the SBC is still kicking about. If you have the fodder, even if you don't have the fodder, you can generate the fodder and get this guy done. He's an absolute machine. As a super sub, he's brilliant because he comes on and he just harasses people on the right wing, up and down. He can play right back. He can play right midfield. I usually play him as a super sub in my right back spot, and he just goes marauding up and down the wing. And I keep him on balance as well, so he just goes up and down the wing. He's really fast, and he can just kick into that acceleration mode really well. But one thing I really like is he's good at just blocking players off the ball and just counter pressing. So he's a total gun. And I think there was one clip that was shared by Ozilla on X. I'm sure if you're not following Ozilla, just follow. This is a skiller that does a lot of skills. He's Aussie as well, by the way. He does everything. Adama does everything all the way from his own box, takes the ball, goes running down the wing, dribbles past 4 or 5 people, throws a couple of people down, goes all the way to the box, and misses a sitter. That's exactly what he is. He'll do everything right until he has to score or pass the final pass.
Reminds me of a Reading player called Jimmy Kebe over the years, and Michael Gilks as well. Both of them had that unique trait of being so great until they got into the final third and then invariably made the wrong decision. Femi Aziz does that today as well now for Reading. But enough League One talk. It is tough. I mean, he's 130k. That's the only thing that puts me off as a super sub, and we talked about it on Saturday. But yeah, he has. I was talking about it because we recorded on Friday, not too long after it'd been released. I hadn't caused me too many problems, but yeah, certain people knew how to use him in weekend league. So I can definitely see the appeal now. I'm going to talk about a man I mentioned earlier, Samuel Umtiti. He's now 86 rated Thunderstruck item. You can pick this card up for 14,000 coins, and he is outrageously good for that price. If you are short of coins, even if you've got loads of coins, I'm now only dropping him because I've got Maldini. But even now, I'm seriously considering whether I want to, because this card has got every defensive playstyle you could possibly want. He's got power header, jockey, block, intercept, anticipate, bruiser, and aerial. 2-star, 3-star, not the best. Work rates low, medium, so that are fine. The thing that lets this card down is the acceleration. It only starts at 78. Of course, you can boost it up with the shadow. And the stamina at 61 means as we get into those last few minutes in the game, someone does bring on an Adama Traore Shaq, that can cause problems. Now, he does still have a chance for a final upgrade. The bad news is they've got to beat PSG. But Lille are good. I think they're fourth in Ligue 1 at the moment. I think they've only lost like 2 or 3 games all season. So they've got a chance of winning this. And this card tanked all the way down to 13k. He was up close to 20. Before they drew away. I think it might have been Brest at the weekend, a 0-0 draw there. But yeah, I love this card. I think if you're looking after any Ligue 1 defender and you're on a budget, or even if you're not, this card is 13,000 coins. Just pick one up. At the very worst, you will lose 2,500 coins, even if you don't like him. So buy him, give him a try, and if they pull off a shock result against PSG, either you're going to make coins or you're going to get yourself a good defender.
Well said. Well said. I have to try this guy.
Yeah, it's got unique body type as well.
Very nice.
So, yeah, definitely go and do it. And just very quickly as well, Shaq, we kind of mentioned it briefly last week, but we wanted to talk about formation in review, and you've picked the 4-4-2.
This time around, it's 4-4-2 from Div 10 moment again, and this guy seems to be kicking out really popular formations, and I think the tweaks are really universally, I think, playable, and that's what I like about some of the formations that he's putting out. It's a really simple 4-4-2. You keep your one fullback on stay back and the other fullback on get balanced. And I had Bacha unbalanced, so she was going all the way up and doing those whip crosses. I had João Cancelo as my right back, and he was just staying back and covering everything up. But you can always trigger those runs to go forward. What I like about this formation is literally you just need to have, you don't need to have any sort of defensive capabilities across the top 6. You can just let them play the way you want them to play. It would be ideal to have, I'm playing Essien as my stay back while attacking midfielder, but you could literally play anyone there who can run and kind of shield the ball. That's pretty much all you need. What I like is the actual movement that you get with this formation. The players move in really unique ways that you create space, and it really works. You can do through pass to Mbappe if you really want, a ball over the top to Mbappe if you really want. You can use something else towards the wing because you have one striker and stay central and one striker on drift wide. It really opens up the play a lot. I think if you really slow down your gameplay, you'll just see your attacking players just floating around doing things that just open up the game for you. And I really think it's a formation that I love 4-4-2. I'd love to find a 4-4-2 that works for me. And this time, as soon as the patch hit, this started working beautifully for me.
Yeah, look, I'm a massive fan of 4-4-2. So I grew up watching, again, lower league football in England. So 4-4-2 and me go very much hand in hand. I have started to try this formation on my second account, which I'm just going to use as a bit of a Reading to Glory account. So use it for a couple of games in Rivals, but it's Div 10, so I can't even Div 10's formation in Div 10, so I can't really give too many thoughts on it. But early signs, yeah, it does seem very nicely balanced. So one to keep an eye on. And of course, lots of formations coming out from ourselves. At Foot Coaching, John is beavering away in the background, making plenty for our patrons. So again, patreon.com/foot in review. If you want to go and check those out, they're all being tweaked post-patch as well. So, and there's lots more to come over the festive period. So lots to get involved in there. Again, sign up at NET, get Discord access, great community going on over there. Sign up at certain tiers, you get other benefits, you get our merch. You get access to our trading show that me and Shaq are going to record in just a few minutes' time after we finish taping this, and plenty more. And again, footcoaching.com for your coaching needs. Again, they do things like gift cards and stuff for Christmas. So if you've got a mate that has gone through 5 or 6 controllers and you think might need a bit of a help, why not treat him to a coaching session from our great team over there. But Shaq, I think that just about wraps things up for us. We will be back. The royal we of the show will return over the weekend. John will be hosting alongside. I'm not sure who's back. Not sure if Ingby's back for the weekend, but we're going to have a new promo. One that's already been leaked. We're not going to spoil it here, but there will be plenty to get into at the weekend. Shaq, where can people follow you on social media?
Shaq Attack 6285 on X and Shaq Attack on the Discord. Just drop me a DM. I love it when I get a random DM asking for random stuff or just even mentioning something from the pod. Yeah, just go on. Keep doing that. It's great.
Perfect. I am at Wimby or at Wimby86 on X. Follow me on either. Wimby in the Discord as well. So thank you very much indeed for your time. We will be back soon. Only one thing left for us to do, Shaq.
Drop it.
We're going to drop it.
Drop it.
F U
T.
F U
T.
F F F
T.
F
U T
T.
T. In the view.
F
U
T.